Hey guys, I'm back again. Welcome to day 10 in life of the Google Pixel Fold. Today I'm going to answer the question, if you're an iPhone user and you should switch to the Google Pixel Fold. Even though it may seem like a simple question, it's actually a pretty loaded question, and the answer is it really depends. There are many different factors that involve when you're switching phones or ecosystem. First of all, you have to ask yourself, are all your friends iPhone users? If you are in the US, the majority of people use iPhones, and all the chat and messaging just work better when everybody has iPhone. And it's actually designed that way. It depends on if you're willing to be outcasted from society depending on where you live. And Google RCS technology is available that allows Android and iPhone to talk to each other, but Apple refused to activate it just because the fact that they want everything in their ecosystem, they want people to use their product, and as a result, it makes the Android phone use inferior. But it is actually designed by choice, and not everybody really know that. Surprisingly. Yeah, it depends if you're ready to go from blue bubbles to green bubbles. Another factor is if all your friends, depending on what kind of group chat you use, whether you are on Snapchat, WhatsApp, or Telegram, any other platform like that, you should be fine just in terms of setting high quality photos and videos. But if they're not willing to switch, and most people just use the standard messaging, and it's going to be a messy process, especially you're in group text. Reaction gets weird. Setting videos, it may look blurry. So it's just two platforms not talking to each other very well. If you switch and the majority of friends and family use iPhones, then you're going to have to be that guy that mess up the group chat unless they're willing to change. And another thing you have to take into consideration if you have other Apple products in your ecosystem already, for example, you already have iPad, Apple Watch, Macs, and everything like that, you have to consider whether or not you're willing to remove the Fold from the ecosystem when you switch over to the Pixel Fold. So if you have an Android phone, the AirPods technically would work, but it just wouldn't work as well. You wouldn't get all the full functionality and things like that you're used to, and all those features that were designed for the Apple ecosystem. So you have to take that into consideration as well. Once you do switch, are you willing to make the full switch or the partial switch? Because Google offer their own buds and Chromebooks and all that as well. So it just all depends on if you want to be all in or just 1 foot in. If you're just 1 foot in, just expect some bumps and bruises along the way until you make the full switch, depending on how deep you are in each particular ecosystem. And to be honest, on the Android side of the house, apps are not really optimized. Just in general, they work better on iPhone. A lot of apps are developed for iPhones first, and they're just more well optimized. On the Android space, they're for the majority of the time, they are kind of a second thought. If everything works on the iPhone, it eventually comes over to Android. There are some cases where you do see development for Android first, but just little things like Snapchat works weird on Android phone in the past. You always had like blurry videos and photos. Not as much these days. Same thing for Instagram as well. In the early days, they don't work well for Android phones, but over time they have gotten better. And one thing I noticed with Snapchat on the Pixel Fold is maybe it's just a me problem or it's just a Snapchat problem. But since I use so many different phones, if you log into different phones, it will automatically log out of Snapchat on the other phone. So me switching back and forth, sometimes when I open up the Google Pixel Fold and I use Snapchat on there, it would just be completely unresponsive. You can't even touch any of the apps, or you can't even log in, log out, type messages or anything like that. So the only way to fix it is to uninstall the app and reinstall it. But I guess most people wouldn't have this problem if they're not switching from phones to phones. But in general, there are little weird apps, optimization issues like that certain apps will just completely crash or be unresponsive. I mean, on Apple's side of the house, there are random app bugs as well too, but I just feel like on the Android side of the house, there are many more little weird issues like that you have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. Another thing you have to take into consideration is whether or not you have used an Android phone before in the past. If you have a general idea, would it be a sticker shock and jumping over to the side of the house? But you haven't. Just be prepared for all the changes, all the customization, and having so many flexibility. It may be a sticker shock at first. And if you never used an Android phone before, jumping into the Pixel Fold might be kind of a stretch. I mean, it's definitely different if you're looking for something new and a big change, and maybe worth it. But if you want something that's more comparable, one-to-one, maybe go Google Pixel 7 Pro or the Galaxy S series. Those will be more similar to standard traditional smartphone experience. It's just another ecosystem. So it depends if you want to jump to a new ecosystem and a new form factor at the same time. It is a drastic change that you have to evaluate your how much you're willing to tinker and learn along the way. If you're used to just being safe, having the same iPhone for the last 20 years, know what everything is, don't like to search and experiment with things, the Google Pixel Fold is going to be a challenge to learn. But you're willing to learn and play around with it. It is an awesome phone that's really fun to have. And the main reason why you would want to switch over to a Pixel Fold is if you want the stock Android experience and also have a tablet in your pocket. That is super convenient if you walk around the house, and you want to do some research, watch YouTube videos. It's super fun just to have that portability instead of have to run and grab your iPad every single time. And last but not least, if you have $2,000 to spare and you're willing to drop it on the Pixel Fold, by all means, just do it, but just be aware of the bumps and bruises along the way. I wouldn't recommend waiting for deals or just waiting for some time to pass. Android phones always drop in value really quickly. So even though it launched $1,800 today, it wouldn't shock me to see it at $1,400 or $1,200 in the near future, or even have trade-in deals or something like that. Just be aware that anytime you do a trade-in deal, the carriers tend to lock you in for like a 2-year contract, so there's a big commitment. Just make sure you try it out first, see if you like it before locking it in. Alright guys, this wraps up day 10 in the life of the Google Pixel Fold. Those are just some of my general thoughts on on things to consider if you want to switch from iPhone over to Android. It is a lot of things you need to consider in the background, but once you kind of vet out all those things and you're willing to make the switch, I think you're definitely going to enjoy the experience. You just got to go into it open-minded and know what you're getting yourself into. You're paying for a really expensive phone, you're paying for a tablet in your pocket. Half the apps may not work, but the idea of it is nice. And just be prepared to carry around a very heavy, chunky phone throughout the day. It's still new technology. If you're willing to try something new, it's fun. It is expensive. But if you want to wait until iPhone release their folding phone 10 years from now, be my guess. It'll probably be more polished and refined. But this is just the price of paying for newer technology and just having some fun in life. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you have any thoughts, comments in the question below. Let me know what your experience have been with the Pixel Fold if you do have it or you do plan to get it. Please check out my day and night video if you haven't already. Remember to like and subscribe, and see you guys in the next video.